Hello, Scrubby Peeps. Suzanna here today, and I am sharing with you week 8 in my memory planner. So that is the left-hand page, and this is the right-hand page of week 8, so February 21st through 27th. So I have now received my February Stop the Blur goodies. I don't actually subscribe to the kit. I subscribe to the class, and then, I'm a member of the class, I guess, and then I subscribe to Stamp Society, and so I have my stamps, and then with Stamp Society I can do the add-ons, and so I do some of the Stop the Blur add-ons. So what I'm fussing with here are these really cool tab file cards, I'm going to call them, and so they come in it's not a blister pack, but they're a bound pack of 3 of those 3 different sizes and colors. And so I've pulled one of each one, and I want to use that for my Saturday photos of my daughter competing, and then I have pictures of a barbecue restaurant that we went to, a new restaurant for us, and then that red photo that you see there is of the inside. And so I pre-printed the photos, not really thinking of the size. You can see my hands kind of going, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I thought I knew what I was going to do. I thought that was going to be my start point. I get frustrated, and so I move on. I'm going to think about it as I work on the rest of the week. So in the Stop the Blur printable, Heidi has a formula, and so in her formula, after you print the photos, you're going to choose your color palette. So I knew I really wanted to use that pink and that blue, and then the blush tab cards, and so I chose a color palette that was going to supplement that, and I went with the Bright Slide from Fancy Pants from quite some time ago. I don't even see the year, from 2017, and so that is what I use as my uniting factor there. I pull out some Distress inks, and I know for the 22nd, so Tuesday the 22nd was Tuesday because it was February 2, the 22nd, in the year 2022. And so I knew I wanted to stamp that using my color palette in that big space there. So I am at the end of February in a 6-month book, but I am trying to skip some pages just because I'm worried that I am not going to be able to get 6 months worth. There's no way I'm going to get 6 months worth without breaking the binding of this book. It is already probably triple the size, and I'm not even halfway through yet. And so stamping, even with chipboard behind it, is a little bit, as you can see here, dicey. It's not because I'm not loading my stamp up with enough ink. I'm definitely doing that, but there's a lot of bulk, and it's asymmetrical bulk. I'm trying to get the bulk spread throughout the pages, but it's hard. And so I am just going to live with the fact that it is not perfect stamping, and that's okay, because you still get the 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Did I say 5 twos? Yeah. And you get the idea there. So I have no idea what else is going to go there, but I know that I don't have a lot of photos from this week. I have a lot of photos from Saturday, and so I do have a lot of photos. It's more that I also want to save room for journaling as well and not have too many interactive elements. I only want to put interactive elements where I really need them, and remembering that I don't have to tell every story. So I'm really not following Heidi's formula in that I haven't penciled out a sketch. I really don't know how this is going to look. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants and going as I go. But I have in where I've written out my 4 things as part of that formula, I have written down words that if I wanted to do a big word or if I wanted to stamp that I think would be appropriate. So for example, Here where I have the picture of my daughter wearing her duck socks, I had warm as a word. And then for Thursday, the day after, where I've got, it's our first daffodil bloom, I have bloom as the word that I've written down there. And so I do have ideas of how things, what might be supplement to my photos, but I don't actually know how that's going to go. And typically I have a pretty good idea. I've laid out the photos ahead of time. But I haven't here. I'm just literally just kind of having fun, just flowing with the process. So you can see there I originally had 2 square photos. One was of the daffodils, which I am putting there. That is our first ever spring bloom for this year. And then I had a picture of dinner, but I wasn't going to be able to get this picture, which is the Washington Post headline of Russia invades Ukraine. I wanted it's an important world event. It's a scary world event, but it's an important world event that I wanted documented. I didn't need to write anything about it. I'm just going to put a stamp that says news alert. And there's really not a whole lot to write next to the first spring bloom, but they were things that I want to remember in particular from that day. Dinner is not important. And so it was nothing new. It was nothing that really stood out, and so I omitted that picture. So moving through to the rest of the week, I am back to to Saturday, and I really like the blue, but I want to incorporate a little bit of texture. So each of those the blush, and then the blue card, they're actually also pretty thick cardstock, heavier than normal weight cardstock. Like normal weight cardstock is 80 pounds. I want to say this is like 110 pounds, if not, 110 pounds. And I knew I didn't want all of that thickness. I didn't want 3 layers of that thickness plus photo. And I wanted a little bit of texture. So I just traced that blue card onto a lighter pattern paper. It is one from the Bright Side, and I've learned that I like the 6x6 paper pads. So I've been ordering more 6x6 paper pads so that I can work on things in my memory planner and have coordinating papers to work with for each week. Not that I need more 6x6 paper pads. I've got plenty, but I've seen a lot of color schemes that I really, really like that I think would work really well with the headers that are up there too. Although I will say that I did order the craft book that I think with just the blush, or it's just the gray, just the plain headers. And I'm excited about that because I feel like I need to coordinate my color palette with the header. And I don't always like those colors. Those aren't colors that I tend to work with. I like these brighter colors like I'm working with here. So I am using 1/4-inch double-sided tape to adhere this all down to that blue so that you can see that it ends up being a trifold. Down trifold, not open each way trifold. And I have to trim out all of my pictures that I have already printed. Fortunately, I've left myself a lot of room for that trimming. And so you will have the swimming pictures here and not there, but on that one same pink card. And then I actually have nothing on the blue and the white at this point because I'm going to do the barbecue front below it, and then the inside of the barbecue is going to go on a tag it's going to go on a fold out to the right hand side. So I actually ended up giving myself more journaling space than I actually needed. So that is going to get adhered on both Saturday and Sunday. And so Sunday's story, while I have all of my Saturday pictures there, ends up just being shifted down to notes. And I'm aware of that, and that's absolutely fine because I actually do say lazy Sunday. You'll see that in the close-ups. There is no photo that goes with Sunday, and actually looking back most weeks I do not have a photo that goes with Sunday, and that's fine because Sundays are typically our lazy days, but if there was something worthy of a photo I would do that. So these are also the note cards. You were able to get I believe they came in the kit, or they were just add-ons. So you can see the note cards at the top left of my screen there, and then you had the ledger circles, which are on the right-hand side, to the right of those ledger cards, and then you had the rectangular ones, which I've got there, the yellow one, as well as you had these long skinny ones, and I don't even attempt to use those here because I really wanted the brighter colors, and the reason that these were acceptable, the kind of more ticket looking one, is because it is a much brighter yellow. So I have fussy cut some flowers, and I spared you having to watch that. These are flowers from the Brightside Fancy Pants collection, and that's what ties everything together. That's what determined that color palette that I'm using for the Tuesday too. And so to add a little bit more of that color, I used the green stripe behind the Love is Blind Season 2 photo that I have there. So I have a label from, that is from Paper Person, and the blue coordinates perfectly. There are slight variations in the blue hues throughout this, but I'm not worried about that. I have no idea what I'm going to put into the blue label. In fact, I don't end up putting anything in there, but sometimes I like the labels as more white spaces and compartmentalization there. So I have this washi from Chamel, and it is not very sticky. So I'm actually going to use double-sided tape to add an extra adhesive. So just a little tip there, if you're not sure about your washi, but you're using it like I am here in order to secure the card down to create a tip up, then make sure you add just, it's the exact same washi. I think that was a 1/2 inch washi. And then I cut that washi because it was super wide washi, and so now I'm using the 1/4 inch washi for that second piece underneath to make sure that that tag is super secure and is not going to go anywhere. So there's no reason that you couldn't have had the photo just where it was, but I like the color that this adds, and then there's hidden journaling underneath it, and not hidden because I need it to be secret, but more just because I've got a lot of words, and sometimes having that break from the words is a good thing. So I've got all of my days here except for Friday done. I just want to add some extra. This is where I'm going to start doing some stamping for some added embellishment here. That is News Alert. And so the distress colors that I am using, I have mustard seed for the yellow, and barn door for the red, tumbled glass for that blue, that kind of sky blue, lucky clover for the green, and then that pinky sort of blushy color is tattered rose. So that's what I use, and those are the oxides. If I stamp in black, I use VersaFine. I have archival ink, but I find that goes through the page more, and so I prefer my VersaFine. I also like the crispness that I get from the VersaFine. So now I am working on, Friday. That is a picture of some travel books that I picked up from the library. So I have not been to the library since pre-COVID, so over 2 years. So it was nice to go back to the library. And I actually picked those books up on Saturday, but the plan came about on Friday, and it doesn't really matter. It's a day difference, right? It was A, that I went to the library, and B, that I picked up some travel books, because on Friday we decided spontaneously that we were going to go to Lisbon for spring break in a month. And so that is what Friday is about. So I'm using some stamps from Everyday Explorer. It's a tag, and the reason I use this particular stamp set is because it also has like maps and some planning looking stuff, and I thought that would be perfect. So I also ordered the puffy alpha stickers. I want to say I had all 5 colors. I think it's 5 colors in my shopping basket. And I looked at the dollar amount and I was like, ooh, that's pretty steep. So I was like, what colors am I realistically going to use? Because I might not like them. I have not purchased them previously. And so I went with the yellow because I don't have a lot of yellow and I like the yellow. And then I went with that blushy pink color, and they are absolutely phenomenal. You have got to get these. They're the perfect teeny size, and they're super, super sticky and adhesive, which is awesome, because I find a lot of puffy stickers, especially letter stickers, tend to just they don't they need to stand up to wear and tear, especially in your memory planner, and these suckers for sure are going to stand up to the wear and tear. So I skipped over this, the stamping of the second tag, but basically I stamped 2 tags. One just has a line, a pink line through it, and it's more just there for layering, for visual. It is on the top of the washi that is above that flip up, but it is in such a place that it is not going to impede you from being able to flip that up. So now I have these super awesome stamps these are the Stamp Society stamps. And so there's a line through the center. It's not the center, but look at this trick. This is how I learned to line them up. So I have a piece of washi that I've put on my stamp block, and so I'm lining the bottom of that gap in the letter with the washi. Isn't that perfect? So now I have the perfect hole to line up my letters so that when I stamp my other words through there, it is perfectly aligned. I don't know why I was pointing to the 222s there. I think I was trying to figure out what color I wanted to do. So I was looking at how bright those colors are and what did I need a little bit more dominance of on that right hand side. And so I went with that tumbled glass. And so it says plan, and it's perfectly lined up thanks to my little washi trick there. And now I want to put a word from the word phrases. So you have the whole alphabet and you have the numbers, and then there's a whole bunch of, I think Heidi said there were 22 different phrases, some great phrases, and they're all in different scripts. So I went with this is gonna be good, because we've kind of been mulling over ideas of what we're gonna do for spring break for a super long time, and we just kind of spontaneously came upon something which was pretty awesome. So I will go ahead and finish that day off, but I want to do the rest of the stamping that I have first, while I've got a wet wipe that is still wet to clean my stamps off with. Sometimes I get hung up on doing other things, but I think I still have a little bit more stamping to do. So just going to line that up, and I don't have a lot that I want to write about some of these things, and so I'm trying not to tell full days. I'm trying to just tell full stories of the story that I chose to use the photos of, if they're full story worthy. So again, I'm going to use these super awesome puffy alphas. These are the yellows, to put in Lisbon because that's where we chose to go. And so you've got the full story there through the picture, and then I'm going to write above it. There's not a lot of room, but there's enough room to tell the story. So of things that I purchased from February that I am super pleased with, you definitely have to get those puffy stickers. They are awesome. And I do really like the ledger tags. I have not used the long skinny one yet, but I am definitely going to get use out of these more notepaddy ones. So I felt like I had that green stamped in the 2, and while I have green in other places, I don't have a really bright pop of green that goes with it, and I felt like that number 2 just stood out by itself, so that's why I used a little bit of that washi. That has been in my stash forever, the green washi that I put underneath warm, and I think that is from Freckled Fawn, but I'm not sure about that. I also felt like I needed a little bit more red in there, and so that's why I put the red label underneath plan. If I wanted to, I can journal there, or it could just be a compartmentalized white space, and I am absolutely fine with that. So that is a paper person stamp that I'm using. I think it said watching and reading, and there were check boxes next to each, and we're just watching, and I didn't need to put reading. So I just used a Post-it note to block that off. And so I have saved last the date. I try and actually put the date in first, but I sometimes want to know how much header room I'm going to use for other things. And so for this, I thought I was going to go further into the header than I did. And so I'm just now getting to that. And this is a stamp from Carrie Bradford that says February. And then because I've got that really dominant black in the Love is Blind photo, and then also the library photo, I decided to go with black letters, again, just for a little bit of balance in the contrast there. So what I have there is a sticker book that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. I forget what their brand name is. Hold on, I'm pulling it down. So the Paper Studio. And it just has a bunch of stickers. And and this one is from My Big Ideas, I think that one is. But again, they're all planner stickers and they are colored and they're very bright. That was Create 365, I'm sorry. And so I have those just as backups for simple stickers. These are number stickers from way back when Simple Stories did the planner, and I'm just going to use those again for extra pops of yellow of the brighter colors that I am using to go with that Bright Side Fancy Pants collection there. So I just need to put the date in, and I'm going to use the heart sticker from those Simple Story stickers, and that is going to be pretty much my completed memory planner before the pen. All I'm going to do is go in with my pen and do some writing. I'm going to use a black pen for the storytelling, and then I'm also going to use a red pen and a coordinating blue pen to put in things that I don't have pictures of, but that are things that I want to remember. Like I went for a walk with a friend, we got sugar and wine breakfast, I didn't go to work on Monday, and so those are just little supplemental things that I'm going to put in. So these are the close-ups. The left page and the right page are to follow, followed by close-ups. If you have any questions about anything that I've done or my process, again, I am still figuring this all out. So be sure to leave the questions in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you are doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.